So, moving on to today's topic, this is going to be a doozy. This is going to be a doozy. So, and going back to my house cleaning and my little spill. Shamar, you catching the comments? So going back to my opening comment, some things that we break down and bring out here is very hard to see just speaking or reading. Some things you only going to get that aha moment once you experience it, meaning you have empirical witness, like the moon. We can tell you how the moon changes, but till you see her glory yourself on a clear night and you see her shining, even when she's a quarter on a Shabbat, you know, well, us who've been witnessing this thing, even when she's not full, if it's the 7th, SELAH, if it's the 8th, or next week is going to be the 29th, she's about to fade out. She's brighter. She's brighter on those days. And you can only get that when you have empirical witness. We can tell you that, but till you actually be out one night, you're like, oh my God, the moon is really, it's brighter than, and that's y'all telling you, hey, it's my Shabbat. So some things that we teach here, family, you got to keep on marching. In the military, they tell you when you're tired, sing the songs, sing those cadences louder, because your brain can't hold two thoughts at one time.
I think I was shot.
So, family, any questions before we move on? Because we got a heavy elephant to deal with. We got a big elephant to deal with. So this is not even the class yet. Come out of her, flee Babylon. So as I was saying before that sidebar, certain things we teach is only going to make sense after you experience it. And case in point is this 13 months. This 13-month system only makes sense and get exposed after you experience it. So this year, you're going to experience people adding a 13th month. And guess what, family? Those of you who was here last Pesach, how many celebrated last Pesach with us? Shamaria, Narayo, Abishai, was you with us then?
No.
We wasn't with y'all, man. We was fresh.
No.
We was fresh out the witness thing. We did a what did we do?
Yeah.
We did some chameleon type stuff.
we did it.
we had the bread and we got some wine and we was like, we was doing it like Christianity taught us.
Yeah. Yeah, so we did it though.
So the reason why I asked that is because last year we predicted that this year they would have 13 months. We brought this out last Pesach, and it's not because we're seers, got the gift of seeing. I don't think I have the gift to see. It's because we know this system of 13 months is Babylonian. So just like we predicted last year, this image came from 2021. And this is the system that these people are using. And it's called, right now, it's called the Metonic 19-year cycle. But Metonic or Meton is a Greek scientist. And the Greeks are thieves, plagiarists, and liars. So this Greek scientist, Meton, he didn't come up with this system. The Babylonians did, and I got receipts. So the 19-year cycle says that in 19 years, you're going to have 7 years that you got to add 13 months, add an additional month. So you'll have 13 months that year. Now, before we even get deep, book, chapter, and verse where you got to add a 13th month. You won't find no records by no righteous Israelite saying that sometimes you're going to have a 13th month. So this image here, those numbers going across the top, 1 through 19, that's the cycle of 19 years. The numbers in gold or yellow is telling you those years of the cycle is when you're going to add 13 months. So I came full-time teaching, I think, YouTube channel like 2016. Found the community in 2017 or 18, I want to say. And I heard about this 13 months. So I says, let me give it a try. It don't sound logical, but I'm still learning. I don't know it all. I'm a babe. Let me give this teacher the benefit of the doubt. Didn't sit well with me, so I kept building my case, building my notes. And then I came across concrete witnesses that 13 months is a Babylonian system. So what these Babylonians came up with is to hide their sun worship, because when you do things against Yah, your culture is out of order. So these Babylonians took it upon themselves, because they're following the fallen angels, and you can find that in the book of I think Jubilees. Canaan's sons were being taught by the fallen angels. So to hide their sun worship, they came up with a system that puts their sun calendar back in line with the Most High's calendar. They're calling it a lunar calendar. The Most High does not have a lunar calendar or a solar calendar. He has a system where all the luminaries work together as one and gives us signs of what's going on during the year. So this Metonic 19-year cycle says, in year 3 of the cycle, add a 13th month. In year 6, add a 13th month. In year 8, 11, 14, in year 17, and then the last year of the cycle, add a 13th month. So in 7 years out of 19, you're going to have a calendar with 13 months. And guess what this year is? 2022. 2022, just like we predicted, so all the numbers at the bottom, the years at the bottom, 2022, 2027, and 2033, all those years in red, these people are going to have a 13-month year. And it's not me being a prophet or a seer. I've detected, I broke down the Babylonian rhythm. So, but these teachers get puffed up with their breakdown. And like we said earlier, you start saying things you can't prove. Oh, if the barley's not right, you got to add a month so you can have enough barley for the wave offering. Book, chapter, and verse, Mr. Sage. Book, chapter, and verse, Mr. King, Master Torah teacher. They're giving you things from the Talmud and the Kabbalah, but they're not telling you your source. They're not showing their sources. So you being a babe is sucking it up, and you think you got something. So everybody who's 30 days behind us, they're 30 days behind us because in 2019 was the last year, the 19th year of the previous cycle. That's the year I had enough research. I said, family, my spirit is pricked. I said, we can't celebrate Pesach in April. I said, I got enough research that we got to do this thing. And matter of fact, that year, I think the actual 14th of the year was March the 21st, but because of that, because of Babylon, we just did it that Saturday, March the 23rd. But I says, we can't do it in April because that's going to be the 13th month like everybody else. So 2019 was the last year of the 19th year of the last cycle. So this year is Jewish leap year. But let me show you the root and history of this system. And this is just review. Can you read that for us? This is a resource you could download, or I have it, I could give it to you, a history of Palestine.
They were a young sect. The Karaites in Jerusalem were a young sect, eager to win over people. And it is well known that in calendrial matters, they would not accept rabbinic computation.
So the Karaites is saying, listen, Karaite means cut. That's where they get the English word carats, 24 karat gold. So the Karaites are arguing with the Rabbinites, the rabbinic Judaisms. These are Israelites. They're saying, we're not following y'all made up calculations. Us Karaites, we're going to do things differently than you oral Talmudists. That's all it's saying here, family.
So they continue to determine the beginning of the month according to the actual appearance of the new moon, and to decide on the leap year according to the Abib or Abyab, the ripening of the grain in Palestine.
So the Karaite think they're better than the Rabbinites, but y'all still doing stuff you can't prove. What book, chapter, and verse did Moses says, and yeah, children of Israel, when you don't have enough barley, add a month, add a leap year. So the Karaites are arguing with the Talmudists or Rabbinites, and y'all both are doing things added to the law. So this thing about waiting till the barley is ripe is nowhere in Torah, is nowhere in Tanakh. No righteous Israelite would ever practice this. I don't care how deep your teacher sounds. I don't care how many images he put on the screen, all these transitions, all this inflecting your voice, and show me your witnesses. You have no witnesses for ever adding to the Most High calendar. It's Talmudic, it's Babylonian. You stink like Babylon. Let's continue here.
Jewish ritual practice was validated by him on the ground that faithfully transmitted data and practices are as authentic and reliable as knowledge gained by sensory perception. Thus, in keeping with the thesis spelled out in the Sefer HaKabbalah, he could look upon rabbinic tradition.
Look upon what?
Rabbinic tradition.
Look upon what?
Look upon rabbinic tradition as unimpeachable, since it derived from an interrupted tradition.
Uninterrupted. I'm sorry, that's a typo, family.
From an uninterrupted tradition, a system of reports and beliefs handed down from master to disciple.
So this is an intro from the book I have here, and I got this book cheap off Amazon because no one wants this knowledge anymore. It's the Sefer HaKabbalah, and Kabbalah in this instance, it just means the book of tradition. It's not the mysticism Kabbalah that they picked up in Persia. What this book is, it's the history of Israel told through the lens of the Talmudists, going back to when we came out of Egypt. And people don't realize what you think you're learning, that's Israelite culture, you're learning things handed down by the Talmudists. A system of reports and beliefs handed down from master to disciple. What does a system of reports sound like to you, family?
Oral tradition.
Oral tradition, the Talmud. So this book here, you guys can borrow anytime you want. I didn't even get deep into this book. I got so much going on. But just so you know, the Talmudists are called the rabbis. I call them the Talmudists. But they broke the periods of their fathers down into different periods. So the first and ancient period is called the biblical period. And then you have a succession of teachers in the days of the Second Temple. But after the Second Temple was destroyed, and we still have people in Babylon and Persia, you have a succession, they became known as the Tannaim. So that period of the rabbis, they call themselves the Tannaim. Then after them was the Amorim. And then after the Amorim came the Saborim. And then the period after that, it was the I'm gonna use a pagan term, the Geonim. Geonim is where they get the word genius from. So these doctors of law have periods, and the last period is the Rabbinite period. So us innocent Hebrews, I'm not throwing stones at anybody. Us innocent Hebrews waking up to the truth, we're coming into assemblies and we're just going along the flow now. You finally convinced, you did the research, like, wow, we are the Israelites. And now, okay, this assembly is saying, okay, I gotta wrap all my head up, I gotta tie all my hair up. Ain't no biblical precept that you gotta tie all your hair up. I gotta do this and that and the third. You're just accepting the customs of that assembly and you're doing your best. All praise be to Abba Yah. That's your understanding right now. So you're not in sin. But what I'm here to tell you is the things they're teaching is coming from Talmudists. oral tradition. There's no law by Abiyah or his son that you got to add a 13th month when the barley's not right. Because now you got two different stories you're telling me. First, you're telling me, oh, add a month when the barley's not right because you need enough barley for the wave offering. But then you're saying, oh, if the first moon don't come in the shape of a teacup handle, that's sign that the moon ain't in the right house. Where's all this written down at? You're making up these cockamamie doctrines, trying to sound super deep, like you're super educated, and you're passing Talmudic oral traditions to the children of Israel. You're in direct violation of Deuteronomy 4:2. I don't care if you don't like it. I don't care if you don't like me. I'm not here for likes. I'm not here to be popular. I'm here to save the children of Israel and righteous strangers. Your great Moreh, your rabbi, whatever you call him, they don't know why they're in Adar right now. They're in Adar right now because in 2019, they had 13 months. That's why everybody's 30 days behind us. In 2019, you had 13 months. That's why you're behind us.
Some of them 60 days behind.
And this year, you're going to be 60 days behind. And I'm not throwing rocks. Don't feel bad if that's your understanding right now. That's not the point of this breakdown. The point of this breakdown is to encourage you to be Bereans. Don't stop and get starstruck with that man because he got long beard and fringes and they got schools all over the world and we've been to Africa and give to the booster program. I don't care about none of that. None of that. Let's pull our receipts out. This website is still up, so you can copy and paste this website. It's chock full of pages. And this is from a pagan telling you how they corrupted the calendar in Israel.
The 19-year cycle that is generally known as the Metonic cycle was published by the Greek astronomer Meton of Athens in the year 432 BC, but was already known to ancient Babylonian and Chinese astronomers. In 19 non-leap years, there are 12 by 19, which is 228 regular months. So this cycle requires 235, subtract the 228 regular months will give you 7 leap years per cycle to make up the full complement of 235 months.
Book, chapter, and verse for this nonsense.
Traditionally, the leap years of each Hebrew 19-year cycle are years 3, 6, 8, 11, 14, 17, and 19 in that cycle. The leap status of any given year is easily calculated as follows. It is a leap year only if the remainder of...
It don't matter. It's all garbage. We got confirmation even this year, flowers coming up in January. And I told you I posted that scripture about the early and latter rain. We couldn't even get our share delivered to our backyard because in January, it was so much water, our backyard was holding water. Yasha, the little kid at his school, got stung by a bee. Y'all seeing flowers pop up. But you following Rome and Greek and saying, oh, we can't have spring until March 20th, until some kind of equinox, and he created all this invented stuff of the Greeks, and you're following Babylon. So let me give you another receipt. Give you another receipt, show you that I'm not making stuff up. This is why we the oddballs, because we're not going along to get along. We're not groupies falling in love with these teachers because they look good, sound good, and oh my goodness, look how you pray. All right, man, listen, miss me with all that. The man who baptized me, I still love him, but I'm not following your Babylonian ways.
You forgot to say, do.
You might as well go back to church with all this. That's the most dangerous part about this, family. That's the most dangerous part. This 19-year, this 13-month system come from Babylon. Y'all want to run the Christians down for doing Christmas. Who gave us Christmas, family? Nimrod in the tree, where'd that come from?
Babylon.
Babylon. So you running down Christians for doing Christmas, but you got to count over 13 months. You ain't no different than Babylon. You're doing this, your feast days stink just like Christmas, but you want to run down Christians because your Moraine captain that gave you this mess. So this is the article. It's leap year. What's the significance? What's the Jewish significance, right? And let me make this big so you can see it.
You got to read mode up there.
Where's it at? This thing in my way. Water with Bob. Just to give you a witness, because, and that's another thing I wanted to say. I don't overload y'all with sources to try to be scholarly and try to show. I do this because I'm a dirtbag. I don't have no education. I butchered the English language on purpose. I don't try to speak proper English because there is no proper English. So I got to give you all these receipts because I'm up against these doctors and PhDs and everything that's shiny that our people fall victim to. So I don't be trying to confuse you or overwhelm you with a bunch of studies, but we got to come with all these receipts because we're dirtbags, whoremongers, we're drunkards. We got to do this because we're up against what y'all respect. Oh, he got a PhD. He went to Harvard. He went to Moody. All this, as long as you respect the Greek system, you'll forever be a slave. So here's just one article. Let's get into it. And just for the sake of time, we go here.
The concept of a leap year was devised to reconcile the complex movements of the sun and the moon.
Oh, it was given by God, it said? It was given by the Most High?
It says it was devised.
Devised. It wasn't commanded?
It was devised to reconcile the complex movements of the sun and the moon with a calendar that would be convenient and easy to use. On our Gregorian calendar, the year contains 365 days.
Which is wrong.
However, the earth revolves around the sun 365 days.
Which is wrong. It's a Greek fiction.
Plus about 6 hours, or to be more exact, 5 hours and 49 minutes. This discrepancy makes it necessary to add time to our calendar year.
Book, chapter, and verse.
This discrepancy makes it necessary to add time to our calendar.
The Most High said.
It makes it necessary to add time. Goodness gracious. If we did not, within a short time, we'd be celebrating Independence Day in the dead of winter.
That's the Roman system that's drifting. Our system is set up by the Most High's sun, stars, and moon. Our system is not drifting. So they're trying to hide their sun worship to keep in line with Roman idolatry, family.
An actual year is about 6 hours longer than the 365 days.
It's not.
So if we add an extra 24 hours to our calendar every 4 years, an additional leap day in February, things should, maybe, they might, hopefully, I think, things should work out. And for the most part, sometimes,
you see this madness?
and sometimes
You might get to heaven. You should be saved. You following this mess, got a 13-year month calendar, and you think you honor Abba Yah. Your feast days are abomination. You stink to the Most High because it's come from Babylon. But you sit in front of your camera like you some great sage, some great teacher, and you got Israelites going to hell, and they doing the best they can to honor the Father. But you done got them captivated with your transitions and all your little inflections. And you teach things you can't verify, and it's coming from Babylon.
But why do we call a year with an extra day a leap year? Adding a day to our calendar causes the dates of the calendar to leap by 1 day the next year. For example, If January 1 falls on a Wednesday in a particular year, it will fall on a Thursday the following year.
We don't care about Wednesday, Thursday, freeze day, because those are idols. So we don't, it's family, let me calm down. It's an abomination for us to even say those names, those labels. That's why you hear me always, I do my best to say pagan Monday, pagan Tuesday, because these are Babylonian gods that they accredited the days of the week for. Every day of the week is for one of their gods. Every month is for a Roman god. Every day of the week, every hour is for one of their gods. We're behind enemy lines so deep, and my heart goes out to the innocent Hebrew, the innocent Israelite who finally says, man, no, these people ain't crazy, and I'm going to settle here, and they think they're honoring the Most High. And you got these teachers who, for their pride, can't say that, wow, I didn't know that. Oh man, I was wrong. That's why I get vexed by that. Ignorance is no problem. That's why we got sacrifice for sins of ignorance. But when these teachers get puffed up and you condescending and teaching things that's nowhere in the Torah, now that's when Judah come out. I don't care who you are. You got Israelites going to hell and righteous strangers. If you're in a door right now, it's because they had 13 months back in 2019. You can't find 13 months anywhere. Read on.
But in a leap year, January 1 leaps over Thursday,
Good gracious,
falling on Friday the following year, which is what's happening this year. January 1, 2020 is a Wednesday, but January 1, 2021 is a Friday.
That means nothing to us.
And I believe they ended up wrong because January 1, oh no, I'm sorry, they're right, because January 1, 2022 was on a Saturday. But many cultures which depended upon the exact knowledge of the phases of the moon, not the sun, confronted this problem with a different approach. Like the Chinese and the ancient Babylonians, the Jewish calendar includes an entire extra month to the calendar in a fixed system developed more than 2 millennia ago.
Developed how long ago?
More than 2 millennia ago.
What's 2 millennia? 2,000 years.
I was gonna say 2000, but then I was like,
how old is our scrolls?
Since the beginning.
These rabbis made this garbage up. 2,000, Messiah, you said Messiah died 2,000 years ago.
Right.
Oh, so y'all got this system together about 200 AD? Oh, that's funny, because about 200 AD, the Mishnah was written. And then about 600 AD, you had the Gemara written. Before 200 AD, no Israelite know anything about a leap year. And then it's funny, you say you add in the 13th month because the barley isn't right, but it's mighty strange. Every time you add a 13th month, it's the same rhythm as the Babylonian system. Kind of strange, Mr. Rabbi.
7 times in 19 years, we add a full month to our calendar. A second Adar in addition to regular Adar.
Book, chapter, and verse. You find the month of Adar written in the Torah, you don't find no second Adar. You don't find no calculations of 13 months in the Torah, but you will find a calculation multiple times of 12 months. There's no second Adar, family. This Babylonian garbage you got people following.
This period of 19 years is known as the Mach.
We can skip that. I just want y'all to read this and show you how we came to the conclusion and caught their rhythm.
On September 14, 2015, which corresponded to the Jewish year 5776.
They're not sure.
We begin the 304th such
Makazar.
Or cycle, adding a month to the Jewish calendar in the 3rd, 6th, 8th, 11th, 14th, 17th, and 19th year.
So let me slow this down. They said that the current 19-year cycle that they're in started in September of 2015. And they add a 13th month in the 3rd year and the 6th year, right? Let's walk this down,
Thus, the leap year in this cycle would be 5779,
which was what, pagan year what?
2018.
Going into 2019. Didn't I tell you all that? In 2019 is when they had their leap year. So now that was the first, that's the third year of the cycle. So the cycle started, let me calm down. I love exposing these devils, and you're so pious and so knowledgeable. Got all this scholarship, and you got people going to hell with Babylonian feast days. So let me calm down. The new cycle they're in, started in 2015. Now remember, the cycle is every 19 years the cycle lasts, but you don't add the first time you're going to add 13 months is the third year of the cycle. So the way they're doing this is the cycle started 2015 to 2016, and then 2018 to 2019 is the third year of the cycle. Y'all see that math? Let's keep going. Now I'll pull the image back up so y'all can see it. We got to go through all this, family, because I want the truth. I don't care about being right. I want the truth. I want to be in line with Abba Yah, but I do take personal vengeance on these brothers being disingenuous. You're being conniving and prideful. You're teaching things you can't, and then you won't even give them the source where you're getting this from. You're getting this from the Talmud, and the Talmud is getting it from the Babylonians.
So just real quick, B. Thompson says that he didn't know that all those days was pagan and months. And then he says, so Abishai was telling him recently that they were technically in captivity by the Greeks, and then the Romans borrowed from them. So we, the Israelites, were passed around. Is that true? And then Khan, to an extent, basically, yeah, we were taken over by the Greeks. Kingdom came first, and they established a lot of the things that we still have today. And then the Romans overtook the Greeks, and we were pretty much in captivity under the Romans. And then pretty much their system is here till today. That's why you'll see they call it the Greco-Roman system or the Greco-Roman education, because Rome kept many of the systems that the Greeks had already put in. A lot of the writing and things of that nature came from the Greeks. So that's why even the language, a lot of the language was that we use now was from the Greeks as well. So yes, the Israelites were and are been passed around. And the thing is about those two captivities that I realized maybe a year ago, they were in captivity, but they were in their own land, captive in their own land. So just something for you to think about. They were captives, but they were many, of course, some were spread to different areas, but the Romans and Greeks had Jerusalem and the land that was promised to us as well. So we would be right at home, but in captivity right at home, which is, to me, even worse.
Calm.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So family, the reason why I get so passionate about this calendar is because I can't prove these brothers are being disingenuous. Maybe they clearly are think they're righteous. But when you hold Christians' feet to the fire and tell Christians to prove Christmas and tell Christians to prove Easter, but you can't prove this leap year, you are a hypocrite. When you run Christians down and telling them they stink because of Nimrod's birthday, but you're doing Babylonian calendars, you stink too. And then when someone brings it to your attention and you don't have enough respect for the Most High to, let's say, let me take a look at this, to me, you are a devil. Whether you blue, black, crisp, I don't care about your what you look like. It's about the pride in your heart. Remove the leaven from your heart. So that's why I get passionate about this. I don't care about being right. I want people in line with Abba Yah. So their current system, their current 19-year cycle started in 2015, which made their first year that they added a 13th month. was 2019. That's the year when I had enough research. I said, I can't do this no more. But we had already set all our feast days up using a pre-calculated calendar. We had set the whole year up on 13 months. So when we did tabernacles in October. And guess what happened when we got out tabernacles? It rained the whole time. That confirms the research that our rainy season, had we did it in September like we supposed to in our 7th month, we would have had good weather. So that's what I'm telling you, family. Some things we teach, you just got to live this thing out and get your journal. Don't take my word for nothing. I'm a dirtbag. Get your journal and start paying attention to Abba's ways. Because even here and over here and across the waters, you still see the same thing. Now, if flowers are coming out over here in January, what do you think back home in Israel and Africa? Israel is in Africa. So we got flowers in January. So don't take my word for anything, family. Get your own empirical witness and you will expose these devils. These prideful Talmudic teachers need to be stoned. So right now we're in there. So 2015 was the first year. So, 2015 is the start of the cycle, which made 2019 year 3. And that's the first time they added a 13th month. So the cycle goes in year 3 and year 6. So 2022, can you finish that up, Bob?
So another leap year in the cycle would be 2021 to coming into 2022.
That's where we at.
And then it'll be year 5784 or 23.
Just you read the pagans. You don't worry about that mess.
Okay, and then the 2026 to 2027, and then 2029 to 2030.
That's the same image we showed y'all, family. The years they're pointing out, we had already put it together back last year in 2021. I said, I'm not sure yet, family. I said, but I think I figured out their rhythm. Let me get the image back up on the screen. I says, but we got to wait till 2022 to see if I'm right. And it turns out I'm right.
Well, sometimes they do that.
So we made this in 2021, and all the numbers in red, I forecasted. I said, I think these are the years they're going to have 13 months. So if you're basing your decision on the ripeness of the barley, how can we predict out to 2033 all the years you're having 13 months? And then your system matches the Babylonian system, who the Greek scientist Meton plagiarized. How are you based it on the barley or some invisible gate opening, but your system, your 19-year cycle matches Babylon to the T? Give me your witnesses, you great sage. You're a Talmudist and you got the children of Israel in sin. My heart goes out to those who were ignorantly doing this. But to these prideful teachers, I pray the Most High strike you down because you're being prideful and won't even reconsider that you may be wrong. And then you got your students all puffed up that they know something, come and talk about the sun got to be brighter than the moon. That's so crazy. The sun got to be brighter than the moon. What are you talking about? So but wait, there's more, because you know I'm dark-skinned. I got to give you all kind of witnesses, right? I'm ignorant. I don't got no education. I got to give you all these witnesses, right? So here's one site we use when we can't see the moon ourselves. I go to this site. This is renewedmoon.com. And the reason why I use this site, family, this site is a collection of moon observers, and they don't care about your faith. You can be Muslim, you can be Hebrew, it don't matter about that. You log on and get your account, and they want you to post when you seen the moon. They want you to post like the position that you seen the horns. Like I seen the horns at 2 and 6 o'clock, and it was in the west sky. I was on a hill, or I was in my backyard. So this site, I'm a member here, but most times I'm either busy working or we have bad weather. So I haven't posted a moon site in over like 2-3 years. But you can go here, right? And you see here, Troy, can you hit that light out for us real quick? Hard to see. And this is just one of many sites I use when we can't see the moon ourselves. Just one of many sites. The water about. So you see already it says biblically observed calendar sightings for the 13th renewed moon of 2021-2022. How do you know already you're going to have a 13 month if you got to base it on the barley? These things, no one is considering this. So what I like about this site is to be my witness. You can go down here all the way to the bottom of their page, family, and you can hit and this article right here, this is one of the first articles I found. And this man, Sean Richardson, I believe this site is still active. He has a lot of research, and he brings out his research that before the rabbinic era, Israelites only use witnesses of the moon. So that check that link out. If it's not active, I know I printed hard copies of the whole article out. So check that. But right here, you can go to archive reports. And what you can do with archive reports is click on this arrow right here. And it's 2021, right? You can go back through the years. Here's 2020, 21. Here's 2020 to 2021. 2019 to 2020. You see 2018 to 2019, what's right there?
13th year, 13th month.
13th month. So what I'm saying, I'm verifying with facts. In 2019, they had 13 months. That's why every assembly that's 30 days behind us, this is why. You may not know this. So you're already 30 days behind us. Now in pagan 2022, they're about to do it again. So now you're going to be 60 days behind not the Torah Group, forget us, we're dirtbags. You're behind Abba Yah. You see how detrimental this is? The people coming in, they're innocent. I'm not throwing stones at the students. I'm chopping down these rabbinic Talmudic teachers. That's why the brothers who just get into Purim, you're just getting to Purim because in 2019, they added a 13th month and it's in rhythm with the Babylonian system. No Greeks came up with it. The Greeks are a plagiarist, family. So any questions? And then you can see you can take it further. In 2015 to 2016. So before 2019, they did it in 2015, 2016. That was the 19th year of the last cycle. Y'all understand what I'm saying? So in 2015, 2016, that was the 19th year of the 303rd cycle. Now they're in their 304th cycle, and they're in their sixth year of the 19th cycle. So you don't know what you're doing. You're innocently just sucking YouTube videos up. This brother sounding intellectual. He using all these fancy Greek words, eschatological, eschatalgical, and you got to get the fibers. All this garbage, man. You got people, all this lights, camera, action, family. Don't be sucked up in presentation. You make people give you witnesses. That's why the Torah Group, we stand alone.
Go ahead, Thompson.
So them adding the 13 month, is it possible that they just doing that to throw like Israel off, those who are like basically coming to waking up off from like keeping the Sabbath, like learning to keep the Sabbath and all the Passovers and everything, like the festivals and everything, tabernacles. I just want to know if they're throwing them off. That's what I wanted to know.
I can't speak intelligently about their reasoning. The research I found is that the rabbis who grew up in Babylon, in that Babylonian captivity, they got caught up into idol worship. and they misled people who were born in Babylon. But that's why indoctrinating people that you can't question a leader, you can't question a moray, that comes from the rabbis. You can't question Talmudic, you can't question Rabbi Eleazar. He sat under Gamaliel. So these Israelites who grew up in captivity, and they were the doctors, they were the Pharisees, they got sucked into following Babylonian sun worship, but they're telling the people, oh, Moses said that when this happened, we ought to do this. And Moses ain't say nothing like that. And they're violating Deuteronomy 4:2. Thou shalt not add or take away from my Torah. So I can't tell you for sure, B, why they're doing this, but I could tell you that it's Babylonian sun worship. It's Babylonian sun worship. But thank you for that question. Great question. Any other questions about that, family? Ask for receipts, family. Ask for receipts. There's nothing, we don't challenge each other like we about to do a duel. There's a way you can present your question without being confrontational and like you're disputing what they're saying. Like here, we don't mention names. When you got a question about something you heard, you don't have to say that man's name, that assembly. Just say, oh, is it true, blah, 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 or I heard blah, blah, blah. Do you have any resources for that? And you should be able to do the same thing to that teacher, because once you release something to the public, it belongs to the public. That's why some people who don't want to be questioned, they take the comments off their video. I did it once in a while, and now I'm like, have at it. Because I know if I'm wrong, show me your receipts. And I'm gonna say, thank you, bro. Thank you, sis. I didn't know this. Let me go back and retract this. Because I don't have a dog in the fight. I want us to be righteous. I don't care about my name, about my assembly. I ain't trying to syndicate nothing. We want to be righteous. So comments are on our classes, and we give people, we just gave you 2 hours of research, 2 hours of documents, and you come with some cockamamie comments with nothing to support it. Come on, man, miss me with that. Don't come with your feelings of what you've been told. Come with some resources. I'm giving you 2-3 hours of, not my words, I'm giving you hours of doctors and researchers, and you want to put 2-3 paragraphs about what you believe and how you understand things. Book, chapter, and verse, where your beliefs come in at? All right, y'all ready? Let me calm down. Now y'all ready for class? Or y'all had enough? This too much? Have your way out. You're gonna have a heart attack doing that, man. You're gonna have a heart attack holding it in.
Oh no, I was just saying, no, it's good. I'm good. It's good. It's already been like having class, so everything